Let's welcome Holly Green. Hey, Holly, welcome to the program.
Hi, Ed.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program. Every story has a beginning. What was your upbringing like growing up?
Well, I was born in Ohio, but I mainly was raised in Maryland, and I showed horses for a good part of my life. So I was always into competitive sports, very athletic kind of, endeavors, and, grew up basically with a holistic diet for the most part. We had our Pop-Tarts and Cheerios sometimes, but, pretty much grew up in a wholesome eating family, and so very athletic. So I always kind of had an eye on this kind of stuff. Just the holistic side of medicine. I always thought it was fascinating.
Wow, very interesting. I want to just kind of stay with your upbringing for a moment. You mentioned that you came up very athletic, and you also mentioned about having a love for horses. I know you mentioned that you were born in Ohio, but you grew up in Maryland, and specifically in Baltimore, there's the running of the Preakness Stakes. Were you influenced by the racetrack going to Pimlico in terms of developing your love for thoroughbred horses, or was this something that you just picked up later on, just something to do and it became a passion?
No, I started riding horses when I was 6 years old, so it was pretty much always a part of my life, but I was more of a hunter-jumper, so the race horses didn't really interest me that much. Pretty much just the hunter-jumper, quarter-horse world was my world. And, I had several different horses, but one in particular that ended up taking to the national and world show that we won back-to-back in our last year of youth. So that was more of an influence than anything else. And my parents used to ride. So, when I was very young, they introduced me to riding. And so I had done riding and gymnastics, and one day they said I had to choose, and I chose the horses.
Awesome. Well, indeed, it's something that you still carry with you to this day, but making a choice by choosing the horses, definitely that's something you carry with you to this day. And I want to talk now just about acupuncture. You mentioned about maintaining primarily a holistic diet for really all of your life, and another part of being holistic and sticking to what works from a natural perspective is acupuncture. How were you introduced to acupuncture?
It's been kind of a journey, My dad got sick when I was 22, and I had just graduated college with a psychology and business degree and really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but tried everything to, help him, and unfortunately, he passed. But several years later, my mom actually suggested that I try going to massage school, which at first I didn't really want to do because I felt like, I had this 4-year degree and I just couldn't see it. But I saw that they were doing massage therapy on horses. So I called the gentleman who wrote a book. He's like the father of equine massage, and he told me I needed to go get my massage license. And that was kind of the start going down the path leading to acupuncture, because after a few years, I decided I needed to do something that wasn't so physical as I got older, but I liked the whole holistic idea, and acupuncture was up and coming. So I decided to move from massage into acupuncture, and then the sports just was natural because I had been, as a somewhat athlete showing horses, it was really something that I gravitated towards. So I wanted to specialize because there's a million acupuncturists out there, but I thought I could create a niche if I specialized in the sports medicine and combined all my skill sets.
Wow, that's awesome. And kudos to your mom for giving you that suggestion on, unfortunately, tragedy had happened. And my condolences goes out to you in losing your father. Kudos again to your mother for giving you that suggestion and getting into massage therapy. And as you said, you started off doing equine massage, working with horses, and then later going into transitioning to what you currently do in terms of the world of sports acupuncture. I want to stay just with acupuncture for a moment. It's something that's been around for so long and so many centuries, and it's not just a skill, but it's an art in the application of acupuncture and being a vital part of traditional Chinese medicine. Can you explain to the listeners, Holly, what is acupuncture and its origins?
Well, the origins come from China, and it's at least 3,000 years old. It was the only form of medicine they knew, and they developed it from kind of looking at nature and seeing how the body responded to different seasons, just all the different things in nature. And how they came about with the first acupuncture needles, I don't know, but they were quite large, and actually rocks were really the first tools before they even came close to using the needles. And the needles were quite large once they transferred into that. But the whole idea was they noticed that when they stimulated a certain part of the body, another part, or even that same part, had some relief, or they were always looking to help with pain relief. And the whole idea is to bring the body back into better balance naturally. So over thousands of years, it's just been refined to where different parts of the body correspond to different areas. And we know now in the 21st century that these acupuncture points and meridians, which is what the Chinese use as a meridian system, is really neurologically affecting our brain chemicals and different synapses and nerve pathways. So it's definitely evolved from a very rudimentary science to something very much in the forefront of even neuroscience. They're showing how it really works on that level as well.
Wow, thank you for that explanation. Wow, and it's definitely, as I stated before I asked you the previous question, it's not just a study, but you really have to, it's an art, and you definitely have to be skilled to know what you're doing in terms of doing acupuncture. And certainly you definitely know what you're doing because you've been doing it so well for such a long period of time. And I just want to stay with acupuncture. What are the requirements for becoming a licensed acupuncturist?
Basically, it's a 3-year master's degree in Oriental medicine. So, you learn all aspects of acupuncture and physiology and anatomy and, of course, all the Chinese medicine history and everything having to do with Chinese medicine, and then spend at least a good year. I think our second year we had to do clinic hours, and the entire program, like I said, is a 3-year master degree for the initial training. And then to go on, like the sports, to specialize is additional training.
Okay, awesome. And again, yeah, it's definitely sounds like a lot of work, but you definitely, to use some what you're learning, you're currently putting it to use with your practice. And I'm looking at some of your educational background in regards to acupuncture. You are a certified sports medicine acupuncturist. You are a certified neuromuscular therapist, and you're also a myoskeletal alignment specialist. These are, of course, various forms with acupuncture, and as you mentioned about dealing with the brain and neurosciences as well as with the skeletal system. Can you go more into detail on how acupuncture activates these specific systems?
Well, for one thing, sports acupuncture certification is specific to acupuncture. The neuromuscular reeducation and myoskeletal alignment are more body work, massage-type modalities. But they blend very well with the acupuncture. And then I also add electrical sciences to that, something called more of a neuropuncture. So you combine the electrical sciences and the neurosciences to Chinese medicine, and it can really help to modulate and regulate our nervous system, and even signatures and circuits in the brain to help with things like sleep, anxiety, depression. So it actually can affect our dopamine receptors, our brain chemicals, and also our pain receptors, and helping downregulate pain, working by, if you have a point somewhere in the body, that it will go through the dorsal horn of the spine and go up to the brain. All of that communication regulates pain. So, you know, from a Western standpoint, these Chinese medicine points, back in the day, they didn't know that that's what was actually happening. And so, you know, certain points, for instance, for sleep, that we've found actually can help increase melatonin production, is a Chinese medicine point used for sleep. They just didn't know that it was doing that. They just knew that it helped with sleep. And then we add some electricity to it, which some people do, some people don't. There's so many different ways to apply acupuncture based on training, you know, that can work, but you're modulating the nervous system.
Awesome. And again, thank you so much for the explanation of those different forms of how acupuncture works with those specific systems. And let's go in now to the next question, in what you currently do, what you specialize in, which is sports acupuncture. You talked briefly about your mother making the suggestion after the death of your father about going to a massage school, getting into massage therapy, and you started out working with horses, specializing in equine massaging. But can you explain to the listeners and to me as well, what is sports acupuncture and how did you get into it?
Yeah. Well, I was introduced to it through a colleague, friend of mine who had moved up to Boston with her husband at the time, and she found this sports medicine certification program that a gentleman by the name of Matt Callison put together. And it was a bi-coastal program in California and Boston. And basically, it had 4 different modules, and to this day, I think it's the same 4 modules. So I had to fly up there literally about once a month for a year. And basically learned to take acupuncture to more of an orthopedic type of level, looking at not just acupuncture, meridians and points and all that, but hip balancing, posture, looking at different types of sports injuries and how to treat them using acupuncture, and combining it with some soft tissue work or massage type work, and some corrective exercises that the person can do. So it's geared a lot towards pain and prevention of injury and recovery from injury are what it's best for.
All right, and just let's stay just with our sports acupuncture for a moment. So you basically said that sports acupuncture is just dealing with, similar to what the original concept of acupuncture is, dealing with the traditional Chinese medicine, applying the needles, making sure you're applying them in the right points. And as far as the sports aspect of it, dealing with injuries and aches and pains. And I want to know, just with you being a sports acupuncturist, what does your clientele consist of?
Anything from pro athletes in every sport you can think of to weekend warriors, you know, the triathletes and a lot of runners, distance runners, ultra marathoners, and then a lot of people that just like to get out on the weekends and play golf and tennis. And some of them are older and they, you know, want to keep their body in good shape, or they have more injuries than you know they would have if they were younger, so they want to maintain their physiology and stamina. And some kids, I've worked on a lot of different kids and dancers, have come in, have really enjoyed it, because they're always getting injured, helping to enhance some of the performance of the athletes to keep them on top of their game. So it's a wide group of people that it applies to. And not just athletes, but really anybody with a pain condition or a chronic pain condition it can help a lot with. So, yeah, that's pretty much covers it.
With acupuncture and its numerous benefits that it provides, I want to just get now into acupuncture and how it correlates with sports performance. How does acupuncture, in your opinion, help with sports performance?
Well, we can use the acupuncture to help balance out, for instance, the hips, because a lot of people will be rotated a little bit forward or back, and they don't get the same amount of energy. It would be like if your car has a little bit less air in one tire. Or we can also tonify certain muscles to help them get the blood and oxygen and help them work better when they're out doing whatever the sport is. So it's very good for performance and enhancement. There's been a lot of studies, one in particular about some athletes that were bikers, and they did acupuncture with them before and after, before, and then they measured their performance, and after they found that they had performed much better after having acupuncture before they did their race. They found that their recovery was quicker. So it's very good for recovery as well. But even if you don't do the acupuncture for recovery specifically, just having had some treatments can help in general with blood flow and recovery in general. And then, of course, it speeds up healing tremendously because it brings blood flow and oxygen and all the good nutrients to the area to help it heal quicker.
We've mentioned about the benefits of acupuncture in terms of sports performance, but for people that aren't professional athletes or even weekend warriors but still would like to know the other benefits of acupuncture, like what benefits come from traditional acupuncture?
Basically, you're helping to increase blood flow to the area. You're helping improve the immune system. You're helping to give the person a little more stamina when they're out there, swinging the golf club. Can also help for, golf, for instance, can be hard on the neck and back. So it can help to allow them to be able to play longer and maybe not be as susceptible to injury when they're out playing. So, far from a professional level, it can just help them enjoy their sport more and for longer.
That's awesome. And you mentioned about, for much of your life, you've always followed a holistic diet and just, for the most part, lived a very holistic lifestyle. And it's definitely shown with your studies and what you're doing with your own practice, being involved as a sports acupuncturist. But you meant you've always had a pulse on alternative healing and applying traditional Chinese medicine as opposed to maybe using Western medicine or maybe prescription drugs and things of that nature. What are some of the things, the testimonials that you've heard from your clients just in terms of the differences from what you do from doing alternative healing or holistic healing as opposed to what your clients have done in trying using Western medicine?
Well, everything has its place. So, I've had several people that have had situations where they had knee issues and, were looking to get cortisone shots or any things like that to help with pain because they have arthritis or something of that nature. And some of them get a lot of relief from the acupuncture to where they don't need necessarily to go, have something more intrusive because there's a time and a place. So if we can prevent that or at least keep it to a minimum, it can help enhance the body to heal itself. And then obviously there's things that are beyond the scope of acupuncture, and that's when the Western medicine comes in. So it can work really hand in hand. But it's helped with a lot of different even shoulder issues that the person might be looking to get surgery for that, we could stave off the surgery completely or even just a little bit longer. So it just blends in very well with Western medicine as an alternative to help the body heal itself. And then if it's beyond the scope, Western medicine can come in and do what it does best. So I think the goal is in finding the balance between the two. Too much of one and not enough of the other, on either side is going to be helpful.
And again, thank you so much for that. And I definitely learned a whole lot today about what you do. And you heard it from her. She is Holly Green. She is the founder of AccuSports Therapy Acupuncture, which is a unique system of sports medicine acupuncture in Delray Beach, Florida. Holly, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media and any websites. Let them know that as well.
Sure. Yeah, thanks a lot, Ed. My website is AccuSportsTherapy.net, ACU sports with an S, therapy.net. And there's a lot of information on there just about my practice and all the other things. And you can reach me there. Also on Instagram is AccuSports Therapy Acupuncture, and on Facebook. So I'm on those three platforms primarily. And yeah, that's about it.
Before I let you go, Holly, do you have advice for anyone that would like to get into the world of not just sports acupuncture, but just acupuncture as a whole, and anything that you would like to tell them? The floor is yours.
Well, it's a viable form of alternative medicine. The funniest question people will say to me is, does acupuncture really work? And here, almost 20 years later, I tell them it must because I'm still in business. So, I think to give it a try and to just learn and get educated on what it's really about, and also that it's people are afraid of needles. They don't want to come for acupuncture because of that, and then they'll come for a treatment and they'll realize I'll show them how small the actual needles are, and we'll put in one point, and their common reaction is, that's it? Like, that's it? They have this whole thing built up in their head that it's a much bigger, scarier monster than it really is. So, and then they become, lovers of acupuncture. So it's just another form of medicine, Eastern medicine, holistic medicine, however you want to say it, that can fit in and help keep people healthier and more pain-free, and maybe, help boost the immune system, help with stress, anxiety, sleep. There's just a lot of things that it covers that I think everyone should give it a shot and see how it goes for them.
Most definitely. And one more time, Holly, tell everybody where they can find you on social media and any websites. Let them know that as well.
Yeah, social media, Facebook, I'm there on there, AccuSports Therapy, Acupuncture, and the same on Instagram. And then my website, AccuSportsTherapy.net. And across all three, you can reach me to call the office, which is 561-303-3436, and that's on the website and the other pages as well. And you can send me a message if anybody has any questions.
All right, and you heard it from her. She is Holly Green. Holly, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program.
Awesome, Ed. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.